My next guest aims to inspire, teach, and motivate a community of empowered women to find confidence in the kitchen, put themselves first, and live the life that their next level self would be living. Please welcome Melanie Daniels. Welcome to the Powerful Female Leaders Podcast. I'm your host, Anna Patricia Bourgeois, certified business coach. I am here to help you up-level, generate consistent wealth, increase your confidence, attract dream clients, and master your mindset so that you can fully own your power and achieve next level results in your online business and beyond. Every week, a powerful conversation will take place with amazing guests, or I'll share from my experience to help inspire you to start and scale the business of your dreams while being powerfully you. The time has come to stop playing small, stop hiding, and stop waiting. Now is the perfect time for you to passionately pursue your heart's desire as the powerful leader you were born to be. Are you ready? Let's do this. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Powerful Female Leaders Podcast. I am here today with Melanie Daniels. Hey, girl.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing so good. Thank you so much.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you on the show.
Yes.
So feel free to take us on this journey and share with us who you are, what you do, and how you got to be where you are today.
Okay. So I'm Melanie. You said I'm 23 and I'm currently living out in Hawaii,
Ooh.
out on Oahu. Yeah, I've been out here for about a year. And I moved out here after I went to culinary school in Canada. Just was like seeking adventure. It seemed like
Mhm.
a very fitting place to go. Um, and I've been working in the industry for a few years now, working in various kitchens, working
Mhm.
as a line cook, and I was just getting like pretty burnt out by, like
Mhm.
14-hour days and very minimal pay, which is the sad reality of working in a
Mhm.
kitchen. And as much as I like loved cooking so
Mhm.
much, I kind of felt like I was kind of losing like my passion, my fire for that
Mhm.
love that I once had for cooking by
Yeah.
working these jobs. And through COVID, it kind of gave me like a different perspective of job opportunities.
Mhm.
And my mom actually was really inspiring me to create a little subscription box.
Mm.
Um, and it just kind of started out for fun. And it was a while of kind of just like figuring out what I wanted it to be.
Mm.
Um, and throughout that time, I realized that the thing that I love the most about it is being able to show and teach people how to cook. And the
Mhm.
conversations that came up when I started talking about doing this business were really cool. And I found that I really resonated talking to other women to inspire them to get in the kitchen and not be scared and to be
Mhm.
creative and have confidence not only in the kitchen but in going to the gym and
Mm.
just living their best lives and talking kindly to themselves. And I found that for me, being in the kitchen is definitely an outlet for creativity and just kind of like, I get in my zone in there and like everything else going on in the world kind of just disappears. And to be able to inspire other people to do the same, I found was just really cool.
Yeah.
And this little business has kind of just been growing on itself and kind of becoming into what it is now.
Wow, that's incredible. You're
Yeah.
like the prime example of like following your passion and creating a life around that passion.
Yeah.
And like what would you say was like the biggest like mindset challenge you had to overcome in order to fully step into that leadership role and start your business and start your subscription box, like what was going through your mind and how did it help you get to where you are now?
Yeah, that's actually something that I struggled with for a long time. When I was in high school, I felt I was always kind of pushed to go to a 4 year college. That was just the next thing to do. And I would say that my love of cooking started at a very young age. I always
Mhm.
knew that I was very passionate about it. For example, in seventh grade, do you know Cake Boss, the show? With, yeah,
Yes.
Buddy. Yeah, I was obsessed with him, and
Yeah.
I decided that I wanted to be just like him. So in seventh grade, I started a little side hustle and I started making specialty cakes for my friends and my teachers and neighbors. And I was like,
Mhm.
wow, this is so cool. Um, and I was just always in the kitchen with my mom. Like, I definitely knew it was something that I was really passionate about. But then when it came to senior year and I had to pick a college, I opted for the safe route and kind of
Mm.
doubted what if I didn't actually want to do this. And I ended up going to a 4 year college initially, and I lasted for a whole semester before I was like, yeah, nope, this was not the move for me. And I ended
Mm.
up moving back home. I got my associate's degree, and then I went off to culinary school. And I was like, wow, this is definitely where I was supposed to go. And I
Mm.
learned so much. I had so much fun. And then went like right into the industry right after, because in culinary school it's definitely very pushed to be a successful chef. You have to be striving to be a Michelin star chef. You have to be
Mm.
working 16-hour days, very little pay. You have to work your way to the top. Like, you have to go through all the hard stuff early on so that you can make a name for yourself. And that's definitely what they kind of ingrain
Mm.
in you in school. And so I was definitely initially it was like, okay, yeah, I can totally do that, just sacrifice everything and just, work away for the next few years. But after after a couple years of doing that, I was
Yeah.
super burnt out, and I have a lot of health problems that started coming up a lot more the more burnt out I was. And I was like, wow, this is really just not going to
Mm.
be sustainable long term for me. And that's kind of when I feel I was like, what else could I do? What could I like take all
Mm.
of my passions, because I love cooking, but I also love fitness and I also love singing. And, I feel like I
Mhm.
have all these different passions. And like, what could I turn that into and build a community of really cool people that are interested in the same thing, and bring that like love of cooking, of what it started out at early on, and build
Mhm.
that into something really cool. And so that's when it kind of started developing into a
Mhm.
business. And I would
Mhm.
say one of the biggest drivers for really creating it was actually my mom. She is so persistent on helping
Mhm.
me and getting this up and started, and that was so
Mm.
helpful. And so I've been really
Yeah.
blessed to have her along with me on this journey, because I definitely wouldn't have been able to do this without her. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's been
Yeah.
been a huge learning curve, but I'm so happy that I've done it, and I've been
Yeah.
learning so much.
Yeah, exactly. And I love how talk about the support because I feel like every time we start something new or something we're not familiar with, like having a support system, someone
Yeah.
there in your corner to encourage you and push you and motivate you and help you, like it changes everything. So I'm glad that you shared about your mom. This is awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm also really like happy that you are redefining what cooking is like. Like they try to like drill you down and say like, "Oh, you got to like work really hard," but you're like, "No, like you can make this really fun and be really
Yeah.
successful at it." So I love that. I love the shift.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think, the reality of working in a kitchen, a lot of people get into it and they're like, wow, this is not at all what I expected. And it's
Mhm.
so easy to lose that passion. And I feel like that's kind of true in a lot of other
Yeah.
passions. You like are really passionate about surfing or something, and then you make that your job and you're teaching surfing lessons every day. And then,
Mm.
I feel like it's easy for that passion that you have to kind of diminish a little bit when, you're
Mhm.
putting your life and soul into it sometimes and it's not what you wanted to get
Yeah.
out. So I think going back to like the roots of, you know,
Yeah.
cooking with mom in the kitchen and, licking the spatula and, being creative and not really caring about if it'll turn out or not, but just, doing it and
Mm.
not like second guessing yourself. Well, I don't know how to do this, or I
Yeah.
don't have the time for this, or
Mhm.
whatever it is, I think it's really easy to lose that fire. But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. It's been a really fun way to get my love of cooking back.
Yeah, like without pressure, without expectations, without like those like limitations and timelines and all of that. Like it's just fun. Like you're just
Yeah.
passionate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I love that. I love that
Yeah.
so much. So, what would you say is like the best piece of advice you've ever gotten in your life?
Follow your dreams and
Mm.
live without fear.
Mm.
Because I feel that for so long I was living in fear of in doubt of,
Mm.
you know, oh, what if what I'm doing, somebody else is already doing it. Like, how could I possibly bring something better to the table? And, just
Mhm.
all of these self doubting limitations that I feel like I
Mhm.
had for so long. And when I finally kind of let that go, I was able to go for what I wanted without fear. And it's been so, so good because,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know. I just feel that like, when you're constantly doubting yourself, it's hard to,
Yeah.
really go for what you want. And I don't know, I've just in the past year or so on this business journey, I've just realized that what I have to offer is me, and I think that's really cool, and that's, the best thing you have to offer to this world is yourself,
Yeah.
because somebody else might be teaching cooking classes, but they're not gonna be teaching them the way that I do it. They'll bring
Yeah.
something else to the table. So, there's people out there that want to listen to what you have to say, and it might not be everybody, but if you can speak to one person and you're able to inspire just one person to
Mhm.
do what you're trying to do, then, you know, you're a success, because at the
Yes.
end of the day, like, that's, what matters. So,
Yes, I love that. And let's talk
yeah.
about the word confidence because I know it's in your Instagram name. I've seen
Yes.
it in your descriptions and all of that. So, what about confidence in the kitchen? Like why is it so important to have and like why do you feel like you want to help women grow that confidence?
Yeah, I'd say when it comes to the kitchen, being confident is so big because, you see like these recipes and they're overwhelming and there's all these random
Mm,
ingredients you maybe never heard of or some technique that you don't really know. And I feel like it's super easy to second
mm,
guess your capability. But I also feel that I don't know if it's just me, but I always
mm.
would get so nervous cooking for other people because I'd be like, "Oh my god,
Yeah.
what if they're not gonna like it?" Like, and I would just doubt the dish, and I would taste it and be like, "Well, I think it's good," but, and then I get so nervous and I would just sit there and I would eat last and I'd be, like, waiting to get their approval if they like it or not, and,
Mhm.
I think that might be similar for other people too, just so I
Yeah.
think having that confidence and knowing that what you're making is good, and probably not everybody's gonna like it. I've definitely made some dishes where I was like, this was amazing. And, some of my friends were like, yeah, this was just not for me. And, it happens
Yeah.
and it's okay.
Yeah.
And you can get back in there and make another amazing dish the next day. And so I think, building that confidence around cooking to be able
Yeah.
to bring out your creativity is really important.
Yeah.
And I think, just like building a community of women that are confident and empowered in the kitchen and outside the kitchen as well to, follow what they
Mm.
want to do and not be afraid, not live in fear and just live their lives in confidence. I think if, I'm able to inspire
Yeah.
that in the kitchen, then, hopefully they're able to use that in other aspects of their life as well.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I love this so much. You're
Oh,
amazing.
thank you.
I do have $1 million question for you.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm ready.
Let's say, we're busy women, we're running businesses, we have lots on our plate,
Yeah.
and then we get to the cooking part,
Yeah.
and we don't have the mental capacity to think about what we want to eat or what we're going to do. So like what's your best like top tips for like saving time in the kitchen and still eating healthy meals?
Yeah. I would say for that, I think especially as of lately, a lot of people tend to go to like little TikTok and Instagram quick and easy, recipes, which can
Yeah.
be really good. But what I think, it comes down to is to be able to know some really basic techniques and to be able to quickly use those to be like, "Oh, okay. I know I can roast this vegetable and it'll take an hour, but all I have to do is, toss it really quickly and throw it in the oven, and then I can go,
Mhm.
sit down on the couch and check my emails or, knowing some of those like key techniques of different,
Mm.
styles and different things you can do so that I can switch it up. But, I think it
Mm.
is really easy to just resort to your like eggs and fried rice or, whatever go-to meal that
Mm.
because you well,
Yeah.
this only takes me 10 minutes, so I'll just eat it again. And I've definitely done that before after long days at work, you just want that really quick thing
Yeah.
that you know. But I would say just not getting stuck on making that same thing just because another dish you've never made before, it's a learning curve. You don't know how long it'll take. You have to read the recipe, it's a little more time
Mhm.
consuming and maybe your brain can't handle that after a long day of work. But I would say if you're able to take, just a little bit of time to learn a
Mhm.
few like proper techniques in the kitchen so that when you get in there,
Mm.
you can have the inspiration because you know that you already know how to cook it, you know, and then it's a little less
Mm.
like
Yeah.
daunting when you get in there and it's so many unknowns.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure you teach about those techniques in your cooking classes, right?
Yes. Yeah, so
Ah.
am I have a membership where,
Mhm.
there'll eventually be a lot more up on there, but, as I'm starting out this business, I wanted to
Yeah.
create some, like, core videos so that
Mhm.
you get on there and you learn proper techniques of things that, I learned in culinary school and I've learned throughout the years of working in kitchens of,
Mm.
roasting, like how to properly roast, how to properly saute, how to, do all these
Ooh.
basic like pickling, that's something that is so easy, but a lot of
Mhm.
people, think, might be complicated and it's really simple. So
Mm.
these like basic techniques and then um,
Nice.
going with that, we do a live cooking class every month and we use those techniques that you've been learning and we make a fun
Mm.
recipe together and we all cook and it's a live class so people posting about what they're making, and it's fun to see that everybody is making the same dish but how differently it turns out because everybody has their own creative
Mm,
outlook on it. And
yeah.
everybody has different flavor profiles, and what they think is yummy might be a little different to somebody else. And so it's
Yeah.
cool to take what you've been learning and use it in a recipe that you can then go and make that and make it for your friends, and they'll be like, "Oh my gosh, like, where did you learn to make this? That is so cool."
Yeah, like sign me
Yeah.
up. Like I want to take those
Yeah,
classes.
exactly. Yeah.
That's awesome. I love it. You're awesome.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, so one of my last question is, because I ask this to everyone who comes on the show, and it's so fun to hear those different
Uh-huh.
answers. So for you, what does it mean to be a powerful leader?
For me, being a powerful leader, I would say really just starts out with showing up authentically as yourself every day. And then every day you're asking yourself, am I being the best version of myself this day? And if I'm not, where is my potential to be better? How can I
Mm,
make little changes today to be better tomorrow and be better in the future? And I feel like when you start living your life that way, the people around you are going to be inspired because they're seeing, wow, she's doing all these really cool things and she just keeps
mm,
improving and getting better every day. And I think being able to live that way and inspire the people around you to be
mhm.
better is where the base for a really powerful leader starts.
Yeah.
And I think a really powerful leader not only inspires, but also provides, their community with tools and the mindset to be
Mhm.
better.
Yeah. Ugh, love it. Where can people go to connect with you further?
So I have a Instagram page. It's now Melanie's Confident Kitchen. And then
Mhm.
I also have a website that at the moment is just a landing page where you can go and you can take my quiz to see how confident you really are in the kitchen. And that's going to
Mm.
be Melanies Confident Kitchen.com.
Amazing. I'm
Yes.
definitely taking that quiz.
Oh, perfect. See where your confidence really lies.
Yes. I think I'm not that bad,
Yeah.
but there's always room for
Oh,
improvement.
absolutely. I mean, I feel like I always learn new things every day. Like cooking is one of those passions
Yeah.
where, you're just there's always new things to learn. Never ending.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much again for being here. It
Yeah,
was amazing chatting with
you
you. You
too.
are so incredible.
Oh,
Thank you again.
thank you so much.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Powerful Female Leaders podcast. If you love this episode, make sure to spread the message, leave a review, and subscribe. I would forever be grateful for you. I also want to hear from you, and I want to know your feedback and your questions for future episodes. So don't be shy, say hi, and send me a message at Powerful Female Leaders Podcast on Instagram. Until then, I'll see you on the next episode.